the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Because he's driven in 4 runs.
Oh, he's looking for more.
Maybe 5.
A deep shot out to left field. His first as an Oriole on his biggest night here in Birdland.
It's courtesy of Ness, and been a hell of a month for Blaze Alexander. Oh, Griffin brought his broom to work today, or is that our broom?
It's ours, yeah.
It's ours. We have a broom. As yes, indeed, the Orioles do sweep the Rays.
Do some cleaning over here.
Okay, yeah, it was an interesting night because I wavered on who should be man of the match. I thought at first, right, like, hey, man, shout out Trey Gibson going out there, giving him a strong start in an emergency spot, and, like, should recognize him. And then Gunnar Henderson with 2 home runs and a spectacular defensive play, which in a weird way is, like, we know Gunnar can hit home runs. I think we've been as concerned about his defense as we have been, you know, kind of his overall offensive profile. All of that, and then Blaze Alexander is like, I'm going to go ahead and have a 6 RBI night, including my first Orioles home run. And, you know, Blaze Alexander looks like a guy that should be playing pretty regularly at the moment, although we've said that about a lot of guys this season. Been a lot of dudes that we've said, man, you got to throw everything at Jeremiah Jackson. You've got to. Blaze Alexander, at the moment, is a guy that should be in the lineup, and so Blaze Alexander indeed was a man of the match, and there you go.
I guess, I mean, Jeremiah Jackson's not killing them right now.
He's not killing them.
Like Tyler Neal. Well, I guess Tyler Neal had an RBI last night.
He did. I saw it with mine eyes. I'm not, like, trying to pile on Jeremiah Jackson or suggest that he can't be helpful. It's just more of a, every time we get worked up that somebody is a solution, maybe we need to remind ourselves that, like, it's still a smallish sample size, and in general, they should just kind of play the hot hands. Blaze Alexander at the moment is the hot hand, and just kind of looks like a baseball player. Like, I think that's part of it, too, with him. And I get it that it's similar to what I said about Jeremiah Jackson not that long ago. But he just sort of has the, I'll do everything. I'm not here to do one particular thing. I'm just kind of a ball player. So, yeah, congratulations to Blaze. I know this is the most important part of the season. Here, you say something quickly.
Yeah, Blaze looked pretty. He looked pretty good last night. I mean, yeah, it was. I guess we're obviously going to get to it. The question that we're gonna continue to ask ourselves again is, can we buy back into this team? And I don't know. Like they're 4 games under 500 now. Like in
an update on Cano, by the way.
I did not see one yet. But like they're a game out of a playoff spot now, which we talked about a little bit about yesterday. Does that really mean anything? Like if they're not, but
no, that being a game out of a playoff spot doesn't mean a damn thing. But that doesn't mean that the American League being bad is not relevant to the Orioles' big picture. You can say it's relevant to their ability to get into the playoffs. I think most of us know and somebody recently said it on the show, the cream tends to rise to the top. You're probably not going to get into the playoffs with 81 wins, but getting into the playoffs isn't the point. It's the thing, even when we've had folks come on the show and say, I still think they've got a shot to be a wild card contender. My response has been, right, but that's not where this franchise is supposed to be. That's moving the goalposts. You're not supposed to go from 100 wins to, hey, ain't it great if they can be competing for a wild card spot? And that's the difficulty of this question. Are the Orioles back is the thing we're going to keep asking. Well, at the moment, they are. And if this sustains, clearly they are. They're probably not going to win 5 out of every 6, but if they do, then it's not just going to be a question of whether they're back. It's going to be a conversation about what they can compete for. It's complicated. The where they are in the wild card standings doesn't matter, because this season isn't about are you getting yourself into wild card contention. It probably would be enough to quiet the Mike Elias should be fired crowd, because his contract would be relevant and they would be in the mix. But for where they should be competing for more than that. And this stretch of baseball, the question is, can they sustain that? And can they be the team that plays in the second half of this season like they played in the first half of 2024? And the answer is we have no idea. It was a great week. It's been a great homestand. Chris Bassett gets an extra day of rest. Hopefully he goes out and shoves against his former team. He's all worked up about it. There's reasons for optimism. I have no idea. I can't tell you. If the Orioles split 4 games against the Blue Jays, does that mean the back part of this conversation is off? Does it require them winning at least 3 of these 4 to keep that momentum going? They have to sustain this over a period of time. They rock bottom too hard for a 5-6 stretch to definitively show that this team is a contender again. They have to sustain that stretch of baseball. And it doesn't mean that they have to win 19 of 20. But 5 out of 6 can't suddenly be, and then they're 500 again. A 5-game or 5-win and 6-game sample size is not what's going to alter your season. You have to play really good baseball for a prolonged period of time. If they offensively do what they did last night, then you're going to feel pretty good about their chances. The night before, they really didn't do much offensively. We joked about it yesterday. That, like, 1-3-0 swing was kind of the story of the offense, because everything else was just about how bad the Rays were defensively. But last night, the offense came to play. And
against a lefty, yeah.
That is true, too. Although, oddly, someone who gets beat up in the first inning.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a very odd thing for Steven Matz. Because, like, you looked at his numbers coming in, you're like, wow, Steven Matz is having a really good season. And then...
You know what? It's I should take credit probably for yesterday. I picked up Steven Matz right before the game.
He's
right
on
before. Yeah. I was like, oh, he's a lefty facing the Orioles. Should be some easy
Makes
fantasy.
sense.
Some easy fantasy value here.
Makes sense.
And I screwed him. So you're welcome.
Old reverse jinx.
Yeah.
I do like that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't answer these questions. We'll ask Mark Sweeney. Mark Sweeney did last night's game for FS1. He's going to join us here in a few minutes. Get his opinion about it. We can only react to what we have. What we have at the moment is good. What we have at the moment is very encouraging towards that possibility. But from a practical standpoint, it's not just good enough to say, well, you're in the conversation, or you're close to the playoffs because the American League is bad. The Orioles have to prove they're good. That's what they have to prove. And they have to prove it for a sustained, prolonged period of time. Will they do that? Remains to be seen. Would like to get an update on Yennier Cano. That would be nice because Yennier Cano has been
just hamstring. That's all we know right now. Which we
as
knew last night. Yeah.
It was interesting the way that Jim Palmer was describing it. He was like, "You're just hoping that it's not anything related to his
arm."
Yes, correct. You don't want it to be an elbow. You don't want it to be a shoulder. Like Jim Palmer, he said it ineloquently because he was like, "You're just hoping it's a leg injury," and like, what you want to say back was, "Well, what you're hoping is it's not an injury."
What you're hoping is
he's
like, "Oh crap, I loaded the bases."
Yeah,
let me get out of here.
But I get what he was trying to say, which was you're hoping it's not an arm injury of any sort, because those at this point you just sort of assume you're shut down for at least a year. The fact that it's not is encouraging, but you still don't want to go a period of time right now without Yennier Cano, because Yennier Cano, as many questions as we had about him coming into the season, has been unbelievably valuable for this bullpen. So you hope to get a good. Is this the? Yeah. All right, there's Yennier Cano from last night, courtesy of Masson.
Ooh,
yeah, didn't like that whatsoever, not at all. But again, hopefully not significant. With the Orioles playing again tonight, not having an off day this week, we will see if they need to make a roster move. They still didn't use a ton. I know that they only got 5 2/3 out of Trey Gibson. I say only, like that's for Trey Gibson. You obviously you take it. There's no doubt about that. They ended up using 3 other relievers: Keegan Aiken, Andrew Kittredge, and Anthony Nunez. So, like, they probably can buy themselves at least a day of Cano not being. Like, who else pitched on Tuesday? Is anybody not available tonight?
I'm pulling it up now. Pulling up roster resource. Bullpen-wise, Kittredge pitched back-to-back days.
Okay, so
and
Kittredge
then
wouldn't be available.
Wolfram pitched both Tuesday and Monday, but did not pitch last night.
He's available.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only guy that wouldn't be available tonight is Kittredge. Right?
Yeah.
And so
in theory, yeah.
And we're in this scenario that I'm laying out, and presumably Cano. But they're also almost certainly going to send Gibson back down, so they'll add another arm today. They can probably survive at least a day or two before they have to make a decision about Yennier Cano if it's close. I mean, if they know today he's going to need to be on the IL, then they're going to go ahead and put him on the IL to add another pitcher. But if they want to take a look or see how he feels, they're not in a bind in the moment where they have to make a quick decision related to whether or not they need to put Cano on the IL. So there's that. We do obviously need to talk about the real controversy from last night. Who in the hell allowed Jeffrey Mayer to be the Maryland Lottery contestant of the game? Who in the blue hell? Now, there was also a little bit of awkwardness because, like, you could tell Jim Palmer was as rattled as the rest of us were.
I was like, because I was saying, in my head, I was like, what a horrible name. And I was like, no way, either Ben or Jim is going to say that. And then Jim says it, right?
Well, Jim, of course, would say it, right? Like, of course Jim Palmer would say it. Ben, you could tell, didn't want to talk about it. Like, it's a sponsored segment. No, like, we don't want to cause any problems. And also this poor gentleman, they did bring up the poor gentleman. They're like, this guy's probably dealt with this during the course of his life. Here's an Orioles fan from Waldorf Worldwide that's named Jeffrey Mayer. Like, it's probably that ESPN commercial that we didn't do. You never baited yesterday.
Sorry.
We gotta be baiting, man. I thought you told me you were the master baiter.
No.
I thought you said
that. No.
Didn't you say you were the master baiter?
No.
I could have sworn.
No.
But after the one you had the other day that did some numbers, didn't you say that you were really mastering the baiting?
I did, but then ended up being a really busy week.
Wouldn't that make you the master baiter?
It's not a top priority.
Well, now wait a second.
Just straight up, I'm gonna be honest. It's not.
Wait a second. Now wait a second. What are you putting on the priority list ahead of your masturbating?
Your show,
This show or
No, your
Reading Glenn.
Rita's show.
I did have to have Griffin
and then
produce Reading
we got a
Glenn
lot going on
yesterday.
tomorrow as well. And
Well, because we're doing a live show from the PLL.
correct, yeah.
I feel like I feel like you're.
And then also just me, I don't know, doing anything other than being on
like-
Twitter because
I feel like you're.
as we've discussed, Twitter is obviously a great website, but
I feel like
I
this-
don't like spending extra
This
time
doesn't
on
take a ton of time though. Like I think you've told me before that normally when you're masturbating, it doesn't last very long. Didn't you say that? Didn't I hear that from you at some point?
I don't know if I use those exact words.
I could have sworn. Maybe I.
I already forget. What were we gonna do?
I feel like
wait, now I remember.
I feel like this one with no context. This one might be the one, my friend. This one. No, yesterday we were going to do Ollie, but today I was going to suggest we should do the old Sports Center Michael Jordan commercial related to Jeffrey Mayer, right? Like, remember the
I
famous?
Don't remember that one.
You don't remember this?
I probably
It was
was
one of the most iconic
was-
ESPN commercials.
was I
of all time.
alive?
Maybe it wasn't Sportsman, but it was just ESPN generically. They did a commercial of people who had the same name as famous athletes showing up somewhere. And so, like, everybody's excited. Like, the hotel knows that Michael Jordan's checking in, and then it's just some random guy named Michael Jordan. And then they're really disappointed. It's one of the greatest ESPN commercials of all time. If you just search ESPN Michael Jordan, ESPN Michael Jordan.
Does Jeffrey Mayer have something to do with it?
It's the same bit. The bit is that guy.
So Jeffrey Mayer's not actually in the commercial.
No.
Okay.
That guy has
Right,
lived
yeah.
his life everywhere he's gone.
Okay, I do. Okay, I thought you were saying Jeffrey Mayer was in the
No,
commercial.
it's-
No,
I
I
said
remember
Michael
he's like
Jordan.
delivering food, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And he pulls up, and they're like, "Oh, you." And there's a famous character actor that's in there, someone who's been in a million things. I think he was actually in Ocean's 13 as the guy that was there trying to give out the Two Diamonds Award, and they purposely got him sick. You got to be able to find this, man. Come on. I found it in 2 seconds.
Okay, then send it
found
to
it
me.
in 2 seconds.
Well, because it's much easier to play a Twitter clip as well. So I want to find it via
That's
Twitter.
a you problem.
No, it's not.
That's
It's
a
just that is very
Griffin
pertinent to the
problem.
show. Because it's much harder to show YouTube clips.
Well, you can screen share in general. Come on, man.
Yeah, but it doesn't look as clean. So I like.
What do you mean it doesn't look as clean? What happened there? Don't you have a broom? The hell? What's going on? You can only use the broom to wave it? You can't use the broom to sweep sometimes and clean? What's happening over there? We just got to...
And now we're gonna move on. So.
I'm starting to think that you're not the masturbator that you said you were. Just
There was
starting to think.
in middle school we got a new student came to the school. His
Oh, yeah?
his last name was Bates. And us being mature, obviously,
I mean,
came up with a
We
great
definitely-
nickname. Came up with a great nickname for
we
him.
definitely had a buddy named Jared Bates when we were. Now, Jared was the neighborhood tough. So
So
we
you
made
couldn't-
that joke all of one time. And then never again. Anyway, yeah. How dare. I just feel like, with respect to the lottery, fine folks over there, with respect to our friends at Masson, I feel like at some point the thought of giving money, actual American dollars, to Jeffrey Mayer is just simply something that should have never happened. That there needs to be an editor involved that says we can go back to the hopper and pull out another one, right? Like, we don't have to do this. Unbelievable. You're going to be all right. I promise you. I know it only took 10 minutes, but we got there eventually. Hey, new episode of Rita and Glenn, now available wherever you get your podcasts.
I was trying to find the most efficient way to share it.
Your name, please.
Michael Jordan.
Oh,
Michael Jordan, 8 o'clock?
oh,
That's me.
oh. Man.
How you doing?
Really? Let's go.
That's Jeffrey Mayer in Waldorf last night. No, I don't. Poor fella. Poor fella's just like, I just try to win some money. He's all excited because Gunnar Henderson's hitting a home run.
And then the whole fan base is like, F this
yeah,
guy.
F this guy. Poor Jeff Mayer last night. Not the real Jeff Mayer. That guy can forever. I've told that story a million times. Years ago, I got in touch with Jeff Mayer. This is a straight shoot. I got in touch with him, and I pitched him on doing a story for Pressbox about his adult life and, like, bumping into Orioles fans. And I pitched him that idea. And the first response I got from him was something like, I don't know, let me think about it. And then out of nowhere, the morning after, the Orioles lost to the Blue Jays in the 2016 wild card game. I've shown people the email. Just out of nowhere. Remember, this is the famous Zach Britton left in the bullpen game where he put in Ubaldo Jimenez, gut punch. I'm sick. And the next morning I woke up to an email from Jeffrey effing Mayer that said, hey, Glenn, tough season, but a lot to be proud of.
He's encouraging.
Murderous rage. Murderous. And, like, he's not even trying to be a dick. He's obviously trying to be
he was.
But twisting the knife.
He was.
Twisting the knife from that guy. From that guy. And yet, there he was. The fan. Well, he wasn't. It's not him. It's a different guy. But I had to see the name again last night on my television screen.
Maybe this allows us to officially put it behind us.
I think.
If they win a game where Jeffrey
they won a
Mayer's
game when
mentioned.
Jeffrey Mayer was the contestant of the game. I don't know. That's why I should have been watching Fox Sports 1 last night, clearly. I would not have been as raged as I was about the Orioles making Jeffrey Mayer their contestant of the game. Orioles did sweep the Rays and had a hell of a week so far. 5 out of their last 6 have been in the win column. Let's talk about with the man who did call last night's game for FS1. He is the former big leaguer, the Sween Dog himself. Mark Sweeney is back with us now here on the program. Mark, it's Glenn. It's always great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
No, I appreciate it, Glenn. Thank you for having me on. The Orioles looking the better version of when I last had them early in the season against the Royals.
Yeah, obviously. Like, it's a very different conversation than we were having the last time based on how this last week has gone. Mark, I guess with that in mind, right, like, it's always a bit difficult because the question that we're asking in this city this week is, are the Orioles back? And the answer, of course, is we don't know. Like, this is still just 1 week of baseball. Even bad teams have good weeks of baseball. But what do you make of what you've seen in preparing for last night's game, obviously, and how good the offense looked last night, as far as whether this is more likely what we can expect from the Orioles than maybe as poor as they were playing before last week?
Yeah, Glenn, I think there's a couple factors. You're not relevant, in my opinion, and we made a point of how bad the American League has been. Obviously, you got the Yankees, you got the Rays that separate themselves a little bit. It was a really good test because the Rays have been playing good baseball. They were on the back end of a long road trip, so you might get them at the right time. I think there's 2 factors in thinking, are you relevant? You have to get to 500, in my opinion. 500 baseball now makes you relevant, makes you playoff worthy. And then also just playing consistent baseball. I think offensively, the Orioles are getting to where they need to be. They need to be a dangerous offensive team. Last night, they looked the part. They jumped on Steven Matz early. And he gave them opportunities, and they capitalized on it. They had a great approach last night, in my opinion. They were looking for those mistakes. They were looking in a lot because Steven Matz likes to do that to get to his changeup.
Mm-hmm.
And when he threw the changeup early in counts, he likes to land it, and they didn't let him land it. I thought it was really good. The Orioles have an offense that can be very dangerous. The middle of the order bats showed up last night. Gunnar Henderson obviously looked the part. The home run in the first at bat, added one in the back half of his game, which was really important. And I thought Adley Rutschman looked good. He looked the part. He was pulling the ball. He looked aggressive. And the whole offense, obviously 16 hits will indicate that. But that's what this team needs. They need to get to 500, even though they're still relevant in the playoff race. But it's way too early to talk that way. They just need to play consistent baseball, and they got it done against the Rays, which I thought was really important.
I think the part about the offense in particular, Mark, is that I think most of us said we believe the Orioles' offense would be better than it had been. To your point, there's too many capable bats in that lineup for them to continue to perform like this all season long. I think the bigger question, and maybe you don't get to answer this because it's Trey Gibson last night, and we don't even know if Trey Gibson's going to make another start for the Orioles, although he looked very good, clearly. But I think the bigger question is, do they have the pitching to sustain this? Because you can sell me on the bats can be better, but the far bigger problem, I think, had been just how porous the starting pitching had been, which has started to turn. Shane Baz has been better. Obviously, Kyle Bradish has been worlds better the last few times out. Do the Orioles have enough starting pitching that they can match the bats and become a legitimate contender?
I don't think they have it yet. They have the complements, and you look at the landscape of baseball. There's not a lot of aces out there. There's not a lot of 1-2s that you fear so much that you can't beat them. And I think it's just baseball in general. Do the Orioles have enough? I would say no right now, but those two, Bradish and Baz, have to be a better version of themselves, and they are. They've become that. I think it's important for you to get a starting five that you feel like you have an opportunity to win every single night. If you are that version of a team in the big leagues, you have an opportunity not only to make it to the playoffs, but you can sustain it and get deeper in the playoffs. That being said, I say no because they still need to try to seek out a number one.
Yeah.
Do they have enough trade value where they can go out there and get a guy like that? I think they do. Obviously, they have the capital to be able to have prospects or guys at the big league level that teams like. So they can do that. Are the Orioles at that point yet? They still have to prove their worth moving forward, going past the All-Star break and understanding that's where we are. We're a better version of how we started, and we've earned that right for our front office to go out there and grab a starting pitcher.
He is Mark Sweeney, Fox Sports. He's with us here on GCR after calling the game last night. Mark, I want to touch on a couple of the bats that you saw last night because Blaze Alexander was under a bit of a microscope when the Orioles traded for him. They traded a helpful bullpen piece from a season ago in Cade Stroud, and a lot of people said, what are they doing? Then Jackson Holliday went down with an injury. He said, okay, now maybe we get it. But then he was hitting 133 in the month of April. He's been lighting the world on fire in the month of May, and the immediate argument is you've got to do everything in your power to keep him in the lineup every night, maybe make him your essentially everyday third baseman. I know it doesn't really work like that in baseball anymore, but what are you seeing in Blaze Alexander beyond just someone who had a really good night last night and someone who maybe is earning the opportunity to be in the lineup more frequently?
Yeah, great night last night. I mean, I made a point. He came up and he looked like he wanted to use the opposite part of the field against Steven Matz. So having a plan of attack really turned into a great night because then he started pulling the ball. Obviously, the home run ended his night, triple away from the cycle. This is a utility guy, in my opinion, that can be a guy that plays a lot more because he's earned it. But versatility is huge around the game of baseball, and Blaze Alexander is exactly that. If you turn him into a guy that can play every day or play substantial amount of playing time, that's a win-win. Getting in a new uniform is not easy. You have to show worth. You're feeling like you have to impress so many people, and you see it around the league. And you've seen it with Pete Alonso as well. I mean, a tough start. It just makes it feel uncomfortable until you settle in. And both of these guys look like they're starting to settle in and they're starting to do their job. But Blaze Alexander's a complement piece. And when you have your stars going off. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, and you see Pete Alonso getting better. All of a sudden, you start getting deeper in your lineup, and that's a good trait. If you're relying on these guys, it's really hard. And I think that's where the Orioles got to a point at the beginning of the year because it was inconsistent offense. So you're looking at a better version. Is it sustainable? Hopefully it is, because he is very talented. He's very versatile, and I think that's what you expect out of Blaze Alexander.
On the flip side, obviously Tyler O'Neill had a big hit last night, and that's a good thing to see because there haven't been many of those this season. There has been an argument from a number of Orioles fans and pundits that at some point the Orioles simply needed to cut bait with Tyler O'Neill because his time in Baltimore has been that disastrous. What do you make of that concept that maybe at some point it's just not working and you can't keep throwing him out there and praying that he's going to be something other than what you've seen for now a little bit more than a full season?
Yeah, Glenn, I think we're in that age where if you really struggle, everyone wants to release you. Everyone wants to cut bait and whatever you're talking about. It's very difficult because listen, Tyler O'Neill can't have reverse splits. He has to be really good against left-handers.
Right.
That's what you brought him in for. That's what you brought Pete Alonso in for. You have Taylor Ward. It's getting better against left-handed pitching. So he is part of that, and he has to be a better version of it, and he knows it more than anyone else. But also, if he's not consistently on the field, it makes it very difficult for you to have worth of what he is and how he can be in a batter's box. He needs to stay on the field. Last night was a good, I don't want to call it a first step, but this is what you have to get out of him against lefties. That's where it has to start. And you have to understand that you have to take some time where you got to keep him on the field. So you have to be judicious in the front office and how much playing time you get him and how you go about it. So he has to be a better version of himself, and I think Tyler O'Neill understands that more than anybody. But you can't just say, "Hey, we're gonna release you." This is a guy that signed a 3-year deal, and he has to be better version, and he knows it. So hopefully they get a better version of that, whether it's a time period or not. But that goes along with the offensive production, and he's one of those pieces.
I largely agree with what you said, Mark. And I'll add to it, one of the things that I've been saying for the last few weeks is like I think that this argument is screaming into a void. It's not happening. There's no reason to have it. But my biggest point is, like, what is the alternative? Like, what are you doing it just for the sake of trying to be punitive, just because you think they should be mad that Tyler O'Neill hasn't been good? Because that's not a reason to make a decision like this. But if, you bring up obviously looking to acquire pitching at the deadline, which I don't disagree. I think that is the number one thing that the Orioles should be looking for, is top of the rotation pitching, because they can't compete for anything of relevance without it. But like, if there's the opportunity to add a better, more consistent bat and you don't have the space available, then I'm happy to have that conversation at that point. But you just don't have that right now. One of the problems has been most of your outfield bats, besides, Tavares and obviously Ward taking walks, have been pretty inconsistent this season.
Yeah, and Glenn, you make a good point, because the organization's always looking to get better. It might not feel that way if you're a fan of the Orioles, but they're constantly doing that, and it has to be the right timing. Everyone's looking for right-handed power in the game of baseball. You always hear it. So people might say, well, why don't you just trade Tyler O'Neill and get him somewhere else? Maybe it might help him. That is the truth. But it's not as easy as just going out there and doing pennies to the dollar. I mean, it's not the greatest thing. Tyler O'Neill needs to be better, and he needs to be better in an Orioles uniform. So the mentality is, have conversations, do the right things, get him on points, and is he mentally in the right setting to be a guy that can give us a stretch of games where he's changing the game? He's hitting the ball out of the ballpark. He's playing good defense. This is a guy that has a track record but it hasn't been good for a long period of time, and he's not the only one. And throughout baseball, everyone on every team has a story like this, that he's not the version that they expected. So hopefully he is, and I'm not trying to make excuses for Tyler O'Neill.
Right.
He has to be better, and he actually knows that. And he goes to the ballpark thinking today's the day. And when it's not, it just snowballs in the wrong direction. And when you're in one of those ruts, it's not a good feeling. Honestly, I can say this too. Playing 14 years, there were times I would have released myself. But you stay on, and you have the ability to go out there and perform and do your job and have that moment that the Orioles need. When you're losing and you're below 500, there's always excuses on that. And I think a lot of the fans like to release guys quicker than I think the front office says, because listen, money has a lot to do with it. The contract has a lot to do with it, how much playing time you have. But you still have to have a better version of him, and that's what they're looking forward to.
Unrelated to the Orioles specifically, but I was wondering, Mark, you've now been watching for a couple of months. We have so accepted that little thing they're showing us on the screen is legitimately the strike zone. And when we go to ABS and when someone challenges and it just nicks the zone, and we just, okay, that's fact. Have you seen enough to say, hey, it's time. Like, this works. Let's just let it call the balls and strikes, because I'm kind of openly getting frustrated by the strategy part of it. Hey, this was a terrible challenge, and what was this guy doing? He was just emotional because he struck out and he didn't like it. Or this guy doesn't feel like he can challenge, or you can never challenge even a pitch that you're confident it's the situation says you don't challenge in that spot. I think that a lot of people talked about how cool that was, but I just keep coming back to, or we just get the damn balls and strikes right. Like, where are you with having seen it now, and whether it should expand moving forward?
Yeah, Glenn, the emotional challenge is what sticks out to me now, because I think they're getting a little more used to it. I think they are identifying certain players, and obviously the catcher's challenges are more important. It's over 50% that they change. I think the hitters are emotional, and also it has to be a high leverage situation. So my opinion is it's still evolving. I like it because I look at it at the end of the game, and that is the most important part. Extra innings, end of the game. But you saw a pitch the other day in a game that ended the game. It was a really good pitch, caught a lot of the strike zone, and then the hitter is just tapping his helmet just because they had a challenge. This is just the stuff that holds me back from saying I love it. But I think pitches change a lot of elements of the game. High leverage situations, I really do enjoy it, because there's some umpires that have bad days too, and they're getting challenged constantly, and that affects the strike zone. I think it has enhanced the time of the game, because I think a lot of hitters are taking more than they're going out there and trying to swing. They're trying to be aggressive. You're seeing a passive approach because borderline pitches are not being called as much, and you can see it. I think the umpires are better, but also I think the strike zone has shrunk, and that's just the eye test for me. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think that's the eye test. When you see game after game, there's a lot more takes, and establishing their own strike zone that's very important. And I think it's just slowing the game down, which is a scary aspect for me in the game of baseball.
Mark, when we seeing you next?
Well, I'm still with the St. Louis Cardinals, so right. I do the majority of that. So FS1 happens sporadically, but I love doing what I'm doing. I really do. I think it's great. The game is still flourishing. I'd like to see the American League get a little bit better version of themselves, because that's usually the case, and it starts with the AL East. It really does. And I think there's really good teams that haven't played, including the Orioles, played to their best version of themselves, and they go against the Toronto Blue Jays, which I think is another team that's in the same boat.
Kind of wild that the teams that everybody's panicking about it in the NL Central would be in prime position if they were just in the American League right now. They would all be in great shape.
Exactly.
Mark, always appreciate it, man. Thanks for spending the time with us. Let's talk again real soon, all right?
Sounds good, Glenn. Thanks for having me on, bud.
Mark Sweeney from Fox Sports 1 with us here on GCR. Let's try to grab a break, and when we come back, maybe we'll make a visit down to Bowie to chat with a member of the Baysox. That's on the way. Glenn Clark Radio.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
Well, spring and summer have sprung up in Baltimore. That means more than ever it's time to visit one of the two great locations in Baltimore for the Costas Inn. The new location at Timonian Fairgrounds next to the OTB has the same great food, ambiance, and hospitality as the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard in the heart of Dundalk and Sparrows Point. Both are open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner, but remember, it's only the original location for steamed crabs. Take this number down, 410-477-1975 to reserve your slice of Maryland heaven. Make sure you check availability, size, and price point for your next feast. The Costas Inn, always the right choice for dining.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bill Ordine dives in on how different Preakness will be temporarily at Laurel Park and then long-term once it returns to Pimlico. Also inside, Luke Jackson learns more about what Trey Hendrickson will bring to the Ravens. And Karuga Koinange looks at how Samuel Basayo is influencing the Orioles' international signing efforts. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as continue along on a Thursday edition of the program. Let's head down to Bowie to chat with a member of the Chesapeake Baysox, as we are wont to do every couple of weeks here on the program. Our next guest, one of the speediest guys in the Orioles system. He is Tavian Josenberger, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Tavian, it's Glenn. It's good to catch up with you again, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dude. Tavian, can you walk me through, right? Like, you skyrocket, right, in the organization. You, early on, you move up very quickly. Everything's going your way. When it slows a little bit, when it's not, how do you handle this is baseball, right? Like, it's not always, everybody says it's a game of failure. How do you handle that from a personal standpoint and just trying to keep focus and not lose your mind about, oh man, maybe I thought I was going to be in the bigs by the time I was 23, something along those lines?
Yeah. I started off really well, but I think that's just a part of pro ball. everybody, kind of hits a bump in the road at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And the game kind of humbles you and it teaches you how to handle some adversity. So I feel like, I'm not a lot different from most people that play this game. But it's something that you just gotta accept and put your head down and keep working, really.
No, I appreciate that, man. Right? Like, did you know that? Did you have to learn through it or talk to guys, or again, just being in the game for as long as you have, you were prepared for it and you didn't get frustrated or anything like that?
I mean, I think everybody always likes to say that they're prepared for it. And then once you get in it, obviously it's super frustrating. But I mean, it's just something that came with it, and I kind of learned with experience, and got through it and getting through it as we speak. So
I appreciate that, man. Tavian, we talk about, obviously we know how fast you are. We know that you can steal bases. How much more imperative is it for you to make sure you're getting on base because you can be such a game changer as soon as you do?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the most important part of my game. And really what I need to focus on is just getting on base. That's a guy that I've always been and need to continue to be. I'm never going to be a super slugger, a Pete Alonso guy that's a lot of homers, but I can impact the game in multiple ways, and one of those is getting on base. So that's a big focus for me right now.
Have you and Enrique ever had like a straight up one-on-one foot race, and I like something like this to figure out which one of you is actually dead sprint faster?
No, we never raced.
Okay.
We never raced. I'll give it to him, though. I'll give it to him. He got to step on me.
I appreciate that about you.
Yeah.
The good news is that's not really how baseball is determined either. Right? Like it's good to have it. But obviously I got to be able to do other things. What have been the focus for you, Tavian? Obviously, you make the rise in 2024, you get to the AA level. Since that point, in trying to rise further, what have been the unique or specific focuses for you? Here's what I want to work on. Here are the priorities for me as I get prepared to make that next jump.
Yeah, one of the main ones is really just staying healthy, being able to be available and stay on the field, and try to get through a full season is really important to me because I haven't been able to do that. And also, I really just working on my swing and getting things right, getting things back to me. I felt like the past year or two I haven't really been myself or been the player that I know I can be. So kind of just working them kinks out and really just grinding to get better, really. That's all it is.
I was going to ask because the numbers don't always tell a complete story. Is there something in the swings that you've had, something that you've looked at and said, this has been most encouraging for me as I have worked my way back from an injury, and why I'm not maybe losing my mind too much about the overall numbers?
Yeah, especially this year. I think I'm in the best spot I've been in pro ball, swing-wise, for real. I don't think things have really gone my way yet so far this season, but I feel like I'm in a really good spot, and I think it can be a big year for me.
It's interesting because in diving into your numbers, I was looking at this past month, and your on-base clip is up to 376, and the OPS is up to 779, which obviously, if those numbers continue, you're going to be playing this game for a really long time. But what stands out is you've taken a few more walks this month. You've got 18 walks. Is that something that's been a specific focus, again, getting back to what a terror you can be on the base paths, that, hey, I need to be better at drawing walks and that getting on base? Is that a specific focus that you worked on, or is that just sort of how the month went?
A little bit of both. I've always been a guy that doesn't chase a whole lot and takes his walks and gets on base. But after the first month, I kind of just had to dial back, stop trying to do too much, and kind of just focus on getting on base, making it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Getting on base and then scoring a lot of runs. So
It sounds. I mean, man, that sounds great to me, right? Like, it sounds like if you can keep doing that, it's going to be nothing but success moving forward. We're chatting with Tavian Josenberger of the Chesapeake Baysox. He is with us here on GCR. Tavian, how comfortable have you been? Like, we've seen some of the highlights. How comfortable do you feel like you've settled in and defensively at this point?
Yeah. I'm pretty comfortable in the outfield. I haven't played much infield this year, but once if I get back in there and start grinding again, I'll be pretty comfortable there too. But in the outfield, I'm definitely comfortable. Played it, since college. So, are you at a place now where you feel like center field is your position? I do like center field the best, to be honest. But I'm willing to play.
I know how that works, right? Like, this is always difficult because you're like, bro, if they want me to play first base, I just want to play ball. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
I do understand.
Yeah.
But, like, I think that we all know there's something the responsibility of a center fielder is a little bit more than it is at the corner outfield positions. And clearly you are capable of covering that ground. And so I think the confidence that you can play center field moving forward probably is a very good thing because it's such an important position, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I do like center the best, which I feel like most outfielders do. But, it's one of those things. I'm willing to play anywhere and can really play anywhere. So.
Is that like an ego thing that every outfielder's like, dude, I could be a center fielder? Is there something to be said for that? Like, yeah, I'm playing over here, but everyone believes they could be a center fielder?
Yeah, I think it's just like anybody on the infield wants to play shortstop. It's kind of like the same thing.
I think you're right about that. I think that's probably true. It's an ego thing for sure. You're a baseball player, right? Like, I want to play the most important spot on the field. Like, that's just the way 100%. That it works. The Baysox are away this week, but they'll be back next Tuesday night to host Akron. And a big week ahead next week, including Military Appreciation Night, Woof Wednesday, Family Camp Out Night, the Chesapeake Oyster Catchers Identity Game next Friday. You can find out more about all of those events at the Baysox website. I see Wolf Wednesday. We had Bark in the Park at the Orioles game last night, and I don't, Tavian, are you familiar? I don't know how online you are, but there's a story that's come out of minor league baseball this week that the Tulsa Drillers are eliminating the Bat Dog program because a player ended up getting tangled, it's unfortunate. But it makes me angry that we don't have bat dogs everywhere. I feel like every team needs to have a bat dog. What say you about the need for bat dogs throughout minor league baseball?
I think it's a fun thing. For sure. I wouldn't mind having bat dogs.
Right.
All over. But, the thing that recently just happened is
it sucks.
It's unfortunate.
It sucks. Of course it sucks. We all agree with that. But unfortunately, guys get hurt in all sorts of goofy ways, right? Like,
right. I feel like it's kind of like a fluke.
Yes,
type of deal,
it's exactly the way that I felt watching. Like, I feel terrible. Kendall George is the name if you're not familiar with it, and you hate it for him. Like, you hate that anyone ever gets hurt in any circumstance. But, like, again, it's baseball. Crazy things happen. He was trying to jump over the bat dog. The joy that having a bat dog around has to bring to a team, I just feel like that's got to make up for whatever the 1 in a million chances of a fluke injury.
Yeah, I think so. And I also love dogs.
Right.
So.
And how much happier would you be to be at the ballpark with a bunch of dogs? Like Wolf Wednesday next week, I have no doubt that whenever you guys do that, you're like, oh, this is great. This is the best night to be at the ballpark, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I saw the videos of the O's playing with the puppies. Like, I would love for them to bring puppies.
Look, right? We got to work something out with Barks. I'm going to talk to Barks about that. We got to make that happen for you guys to just have a bunch of dogs hanging out before the game. Like,
that'd be awesome.
There is no way that you could ever have a better atmosphere or a better feeling going into a baseball game than just having a bunch of pups on the field beforehand, man. That's the best. Tavian, remind everybody where they can be following you on social media.
Instagram, Tavian.J. Twitter. I don't even know what my Twitter is, to be honest. Tavian J12, I believe.
It sounds like what you're saying is don't bother.
Twitter, we're good. We're good.
Just go follow him on
Not
Instagram.
a whole lot of posts in there.
I appreciate that. Tavian Josenberger, great to catch up, man. May success continue for you, and look forward to doing it again down the road. Thanks so much for hopping on with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Tavian Josenberger with us here on GCR. Have you seen the thing with Kendall George? This sucks. It sucks. It's now the single worst moment, I think, in baseball history, frankly. And I don't want to be over dramatic about it, but I just sent it to you if you didn't have it. The Tulsa Drillers have had a bat dog program for years, but they are doing away with it because of an incident. I just pull up your messages. I just sent it to you.
Nothing loads on this app.
What the hell is going on around there? That's loading. We're good.
I have a process.
I don't care about your process. I care about us talking about the thing that we're talking about and not moving on to another topic, and then you coming back 3 minutes later and saying, I've got the video. New episode of Rita and Glenn now available wherever you get your podcasts, and, of course, youtube.com/@RitaandGlenn. So, yeah, Kendall George is going to be coming around and scoring on this play. And then you're going to see the bat dog come out, and he kind of hops over the bat dog and then, clips him, and this sucks. This sucks.
How about a 14-6 score in the second inning?
That is wild. And I don't know the extent of Kendall George's knee injury, but you feel awful for him. Awful for him. The first comment says, if you get injured off a slight sidestep from a dog, you were probably bound to get injured during a game anyway. I think I literally do something similar around the house at least twice a week without injuring myself. And that's sort of how I feel watching this. Like, I know that Kendall George is frustrated. I know that he's angry. I get the whole thing. But to take away that joy from everyone because of one fluky injury, I want justice. I don't know the name of the bat dog. I don't know, but I want justice for the Tulsa Drillers bat dog and bat dogs everywhere. There was nothing more enjoyable about last night. Well, the game itself was very enjoyable. I take that back. But the second most enjoyable part was hearing all of the very good boys and very good girls in the background throughout the course of the evening. Apparently, Barks brought the dogs into the press box, so all of our friends were, taking new selfies with the puppies that were in the press box. Content was very good. Vibes were high. Justice for bat dogs. Today's show brought to you by the Stand the Fan Variety Hour. Stand the Fan Charles, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson. Every Monday, they're talking baseball with you. Live at Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. If you miss it live, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. Stand shows, as always, brought to you by Warnken Law and the Costas Inn with two great locations, the OG in Dundalk, the new one in Timonium. John, I do disagree with you. The arrogance of Elias in the front office will keep running O'Neill out there instead of doing a move to get someone else a chance. This GM is a joke, and it needs to be challenged by the local media. Bring up a prospect and give someone else a look. If there was a prospect that was banging down the door that Tyler O'Neill was blocking, I would be very loud about this. And I certainly have issues with some of the things that Mike Elias has done. We've talked about it. Mike Elias said the Orioles needed a top-of-the-rotation pitcher and then said, best I can do is Shane Baz. That's a problem. The Tyler O'Neill thing I feel differently about. If the argument is, well, you got to have Heston Kjerstad here, what tells you that Heston Kjerstad is going to be a better major league bat than Tyler O'Neill? And I understand the bar is low. I get it. But this is the awkwardness of the conversation. I think they should prioritize, if this continues, if the Orioles continue to win games and are relevant going towards the deadline, then their biggest priority absolutely should be top-of-the-rotation pitching. But if Tyler O'Neill continues to perform like this, then I absolutely think that another priority should be getting a legitimate, power bat, right-handed bat. And if the Orioles can find that, then I think that is why Tyler O'Neill then should be let go. In the moment, it just kind of doesn't make sense. You're just doing it for the sake of being punitive, which is not a reason to make this type of decision. You do it because it's going to definitively help your ball club. And it's like when we say fire a coach. Fire a coach, shrug shoulder, profit. There has to be a plan. And in the moment, there would be no plan that would make sense if you were to just release Tyler O'Neill. You would just be doing it for the sake of doing it. This weekend, what they're going to be doing is playing lacrosse at Ridley Athletic Complex, something our next guest is very familiar with. I have no doubt this is extremely exciting for her, as she is now part of the Maryland Charm of the WLL, and they will be making their debut on Friday night at Ridley as part of homecoming weekend, as she is Loyola legend Sydni Black, and she is back with us now here on GCR. Sydni, it's Glenn. It's always great to catch up with you. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Hey, Glenn, how you doing? Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here and talk a little lacrosse with you.
Are you kidding me? How cool is this? I can only imagine, right? Everything about this. It's cool to be part of the Charm. It's cool to be part of the WLL. But for it to be happening this way with you playing at Ridley this weekend, how do you possibly put into words how exciting this weekend is for you?
Oh, yeah, it's a little bit of deja vu with a dream come true. I mean, how lucky am I to be able to play at home professionally with the Maryland Charm tomorrow night at Loyola. Incredible. So excited when I got the news from the league when the schedule came out and I saw we were over at Ridley instead of down at Hopkins this weekend. Oh my gosh, just lost for words. So excited to be home.
Tell me about that part of it. Obviously significant, but let's start with just the Charm. And you guys did this with the Sixes tournament, obviously the championship series, but now for there to be close to a full season and a real professional week-to-week league. How meaningful is it to be a part of it? And then, is there a party that says, now we got to go out and put on a show because we want this thing to be massive and there to be an even fuller season and even fuller league moving forward?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have women in this league who have been playing for so many years. You know, we think about the youth level, going through high school and collegiately, and some representing national teams, but to finally be able to wear a women's lacrosse league jersey across our chest and represent the state of Maryland for us, to represent the Charm, to do it at Loyola is going to be incredible. I mean, to be a part of history really is what it is. And I'm at a loss for words to even explain how grateful I am. I can probably speak for all of the other women in the league. We're excited, we're grateful, and we're going to put on a show. No worries about that. No nerves there. We've been ready for this moment for as long as we were little girls, and we're here to stay.
I have no doubt about that. Let's talk about the Charm, right? Because the kind of cool thing, it's funny. I've been looking at all these rosters. I'm like, my God, it's just legends on every single one of these rosters. They're all so loaded. But I know it hasn't been a breakthrough yet in the Sixes format. Playing full field lacrosse, how confident are you in this group and what you're going to be able to do this season?
So confident. For all of us, it's really just going back to our roots. 10-on-10 is what they play at the international level, and lucky for us, we have a few USA and Team Canada stars on our team as well, so very familiar there. Sixes is a fun, fast game, obviously what's going to be in the Olympics in 2028, but for us, this 10-on-10 full season with the WLL is what we've been waiting for, and we're excited to get out there and show the world in Maryland and Baltimore specifically what we can do.
Doing it with Livy Rosenzweig, how wild is it for you that this is part of your now professional experience?
Oh, it's so fun. I mean, after college, obviously, you never know if you're going to play with any of your teammates again, but let alone to be able to play with Livy is pretty exciting for me. Obviously, a very close friend, but a mentor since I stepped on campus at Loyola, too. So to be able to go out there for our first game professionally together with the Charm is really exciting, and to do it at home, again, incredible.
Homecoming weekend, obviously the PLL and the WLL for the next couple of days at Ridley Athletic Complex, and the Charm will be in action tomorrow night along with the Whip Snakes, so sort of a Maryland doubleheader on Friday night. Sydney Black is with us here on GCR. Sydney, the fact that it's at Ridley, there to me is like the showcase part of this, right? Like everybody knows about the power of certain programs, but what you all were able to accomplish during your time at Loyola and putting Loyola kind of in that conversation among the top programs in the country, how much more special is it that like that conversation gets to be had as you guys are there again this weekend and talking about the rise of Loyola women's lacrosse over the course of the last decade?
Oh, most definitely. Incredible honor for us to be back at home here at Ridley. Obviously a very storied program, as you just mentioned, but also a bit biased. Probably the best facility and host location of the summer for the WLL and PLL, but also I think in the entire country right now. So for fans to get a chance to come and see us and kind of share that history with them that they'll be able to see across the stadium throughout the weekend is going to be great. I see a lot of Hound alums in the stands for sure there too, and including Loyola legend Jen Adams and Dana Dobie there. Yeah. But it's going to be it's so fun to share the history of the program. And for those who have watched Loyola on TV and maybe have not gotten a chance to get down to Ridley, for those that are coming into town for the weekend for the games, the tickets obviously available online at plltickets.com. It's going to be great.
You did you like send? I know that part of the story this season is like Army and Navy are really good programs, and you guys have just been so dominant that maybe people didn't recognize that. But like, did you send any of the girls a text like, "Hey, I thought we were never going to lose one of these"? Like, how did you handle the streak coming to an end, and what does it say about the strength of the Patriot League overall?
I think it really speaks volumes to the alumni we have. Immediately after the games, it wasn't like a what's going on. It's, we're incredibly proud of you all. Yeah. Incredibly proud of the coaching staff and all of them as well. But, it takes a lot of people to build a streak like that. So it's not just, one team that it's falling on when it ends. We're incredibly proud of the program. And, incredibly proud of the Patriot League as well. How awesome is it that we are such a competitive league, such a competitive conference, incredible players, national players of the year almost every year, Glenn, which is pretty incredible for some smaller universities here. But we are so proud of them.
My Navy nearly got the job done against Maryland, too, in the quarterfinals. Boy, that was a heck of a game.
Great game.
Sydney, this team, right? What have you maybe learned about it already? I know like this is the first game, and so there's still probably a lot to be learned. But what have you learned about this team, what your style is going to be, what your expectations are for this group in this inaugural season?
I think the expectation across the board is for us to win, right? We're incredibly proud to be representing Maryland on the Charm. After training camp a couple weeks ago, we stayed in very close touch. We've built chemistry incredibly quickly as we've added folks in to the roster, college draft picks in, and we're excited. We're itching. We're ready to go. I think you're going to see a very gritty, a very fast and exciting team. We have the best players in the world, hands down, on our team. So you're definitely going to see a show from all of us.
You in particular, right? Like everybody, I know, obviously, from the time that I've been around the program, how good you are. The nation seems to be like every chance we get, we want Sydney Black representing women's lacrosse and representing what the WLL is, because you are such a steward for the game and all that is good. How have you handled the spotlight that you've had? You've talked to me openly about like being a black lacrosse player in a sport that does not have nearly enough of them, and the spotlight that comes with that for trying to encourage more young women to pick up a lacrosse stick and play the game. How have you handled all of this, and not just like you want to be a great athlete, but maybe knowing the moment is even more than that as you've jumped into your pro career?
Most definitely, and what an honor that is. Appreciate the kind words as usual, Glenn. But I've said it before, everyone in this league right now, we stand on the backs of giants. It's incredible that the WLL is here and where it is now, but we would be remiss to, forgo mentioning all the legends who've gotten us to this point, to be on this platform, to have voices to speak out and to be ourselves and showcase the sport for what it is and who we are today. And that's where I think that comes from for me. It's an inspiration that I just cannot let those folks down who have helped me get to this position. And I can only hope to inspire, the future generations of WLL stars, of Loyola Hounds even, to want to aspire to do something bigger than themselves. And that's the beauty of sports. It connects us in different ways. It gives us the opportunities we might have not had otherwise. And I'm just incredibly grateful to be a part of that.
That's cool to hear you say that, Sydney. That's so cool. I love everything about that. And again, how appreciative have you been about the commitment that's been shown by the folks in the PLL? And you've been through this with other leagues. How confident are you that what you just said is, hey, we're gonna be talking about the Maryland Charm, we're gonna be talking about the WLL for decades. In 50 years, we'll be coming back and reliving the glory days, the early days of the WLL. How much confidence do you have in the direction of this?
I have so much confidence. The front office of the league, of the WLL and the PLL, they have made it clear to us that this is not just, some publicity stunt. It's not a fluke. We're here because we deserve to be, and they recognize that, and they're going to make sure that they give us every possible opportunity to showcase women's lacrosse for the sport it is, the sport it will continue to become as we prep for the Olympics, as we prep for continued WLL seasons. Like you said, I like that. In the next 10 to 50 years, that's what it'll be. So it's an honor to step out on the field every time we do. Tomorrow is no different, just a little extra excitement to get to do it at home.
Yeah, it's Ridley, right, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's the first one, and it's all of that stuff. That's the stuff that matters a lot. I've heard you say the word a couple times, right? I know that's a completely different conversation, but have you been thinking about that? And, is that maybe a subplot to this season, that there's a lot of girls that are fighting for what's not going to be a very large Olympic roster? I don't think people realize how small these rosters are. That's maybe a subtext to this season is there's a lot of people that want to go represent the United States in the first ever Olympics.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure that's in the back of every athlete's mind, including my own, as we continue to look, as we count down the days here. I think I saw it was maybe just over 700 days until 2028 Olympics. So, however, I would say for all of us right now, the moment is just focused on being in the present. And tomorrow's game is a big step, not just for lacrosse, but for women's sports as well. And we can't wait to go out there and take that first step and continue on this path of greatness that the WLL has put us on.
An awesome Friday night ahead. Again, the Whipsnakes play at 6, and then the Charm play against the California Palms at 8:30 at Ridley Athletic Complex. It's going to be an amazing weekend. Sydney Black, remind me, you're not really a Twitter person, right?
Not too much.
But Instagram, correct?
Yes. You can follow me at Sydney Black _ on Instagram.
And that's, of course, SYDNI, Sydney Black _. Give her a follow there. Sydney, we're coming out. We can't wait to see you. So excited for you and for everybody that this is happening. Looking forward to being there tomorrow night. Thank you, as always, for taking the time for us. And best of luck in this season, all right?
Thank you so much, Glenn. We'll talk soon.
That's Sydney Black, of course, Loyola legend, and getting ready to play back at home at Ridley Athletic Complex as part of the inaugural full season for the Maryland Charm and the WLL. Still to come today, Jaylinn Hawkins, Ravens safety, is going to join us. That is on the way as we continue along. It is a Thursday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, ICAR Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
Well, spring and summer have sprung up in Baltimore. That means more than ever it's time to visit one of the two great locations in Baltimore for the Costas Inn. The new location at Timonian Fairgrounds next to the OTB has the same great food, ambiance, and hospitality as the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard in the heart of Dundalk and Sparrows Point. Both are open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner, but remember, it's only the original location for steamed crabs. Take this number down, 410-477-1975 to reserve your slice of Maryland heaven. Make sure you check availability, size, and price point for your next feast. The Costas Inn, always the right choice for dining.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnkin. If you've been injured in a car or truck crash, you probably know this is stressful. Medical bills, the insurance company giving you the runaround, you got to get your car fixed. You don't just need a lawyer, you need results. At Warnkin LLC, we represent the injured across Maryland. Whether it's a car or truck crash case, medical malpractice, or any other serious personal injury, we fight for maximum compensation for you and maximum ease for you. You don't want to have to deal with this stuff. Warnkin LLC has been voted best personal injury law firm in Maryland for a reason. For us, 443 Results isn't just a phone number, it's our mission. Get the advocate that you need. Call us today, 443 Results, or visit us online, warnkinlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCRs. Continue along here on a Thursday edition of the program. CountySports.zone. If you missed anything from championship season, a lot of titles given out. Who won them at both the private and the public school levels? Go find out. CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. So the Ravens had some media availability yesterday at OTAs. Jesse Minter spoke. Lamar Jackson spoke. Nothing that was, like, pressing that came out of it. Nothing, like, breaking news type of conversation, nor is there usually. But I do think that this series of questions and this exchange with Lamar Jackson about, like, he was asked about, like, hey, are you still going to be running this season? And it was a good question. I think Cordell asked that one. It was a good question considering how little he ran last year, but, you know, he sort of gave a vague answer about it, and I get it. Like, they're not going to come out and tell you, yeah, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to run 10 times every game. We've decided that. Like, I understand the difficulty of some of these questions.
It'll be like Darren Peterson, and once he gets his 10th carry, it's just like, all right,
yeah.
I'm done. Pull me, coach.
Got. Go. You can put in a Huntley now. All's good. But he was asked about the contract and the exchange. He's dismissive of, hey, you guys know I don't talk about the contract. But it leads to a question from Jamison Hensley of ESPN that did, I think, ultimately get a pretty good answer out of him. Here's the full exchange from Lamar about the contract situation.
Eric Acosta has, said it's a goal of his to sign you to a contract extension. It seemed like maybe there was a window in March before free agency that you guys could have done it. What's the biggest barrier in your mind to getting a contract extension done?
I was thinking about how I was going to respond to this question if I got it. but I'm gonna give you the same answer I always give. I just want to keep those conversations private. We restructured the deal, and that's what we have right now. So.
Is there a chance that you could play out this season and just bet on yourself and not sign a contract?
We got the reconstruction done, like I said, Jerry. We're just gonna go from there.
Do you feel though? Because it's now 20-some months until you could possibly be a free agent.
Jameson, you're trying to ask the question differently than Jerry just asked me.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, that's smooth, but I'm going to give you the same answer.
No, I have a little different question.
All right, go ahead.
Do you still envision yourself long-term here with the Ravens?
Absolutely. I love the Ravens. I love this organization. I love this city. Just the team that drafted me, got a lot of love for me. And I believe, I got a lot of love for the city and this team as well. So, like I told you, the reconstruction is done. Cool with that, but I love Baltimore. Everybody should know that by now.
And that's the really, complicated part about this conversation is, as I keep saying, every time these wild, and I'm not trying to go after Mike Preston, but, this wild speculation, these bizarre columns or opinions are written where, everyone knows Lamar Jackson would want to play in Miami. There is no tangible evidence at all.
Outside of, his birth certificate saying.
Yeah, that he's from Pompano Beach.
Yeah.
There's no tangible evidence of Lamar Jackson wanting to do anything other than play for the Baltimore Ravens for his career. None. He doesn't like the cold. We all know that. Donick Sinner doesn't like the heat, but, it's just what it is. The problem is, and that's why you want to be utterly dismissive of all of this. Well, this is all just noise. But then what you can sense, every writer or reporter that's there yesterday, what they really want to ask is, why? Why, if that's the case, if this is where you want to be, then why isn't a deal done? And if you ask that, Lamar's going to say, yeah, I'm just going to keep that stuff private. And again, you could say it's a credit to the Ravens that more about these conversations doesn't come out publicly. That they deserve, the credit for being able to keep it all internal. That's in part what happens when you don't have an agent. Agents want stuff to get public because it behooves them and they want other clients to see it. Hey, look at what I'm doing fighting for this player. If you hire me, then I'll do the same for you. But as I wrote about in this last print issue of Press Box, which is still available for a few days, go to the back page and my entire column is just my confusion about it. I'm so confused by this situation. And I don't know. Why are we here? Certainly Lamar Jackson doesn't seem to be all that worked up about it, which makes you believe, if he was worked up about it, wouldn't he say, I'm not going to come out to these things until you get a deal done? Well, he's not just, he's out there more than he's been in the past, which, of course, we think is unique to the fact that there's a new head coach and a new offensive coordinator. But he doesn't seem to be worked up about the fact that he doesn't have a long-term deal. It appears to very much just be the way that he wants to go about doing things. How or why does that make sense? I haven't the foggiest. I cannot explain this. And trying to think about it just leaves you scratching your head. And you can say, well, I'm sure Lamar has an insurance policy that will make up for anything that he might lose in guaranteed money, because that's the risk. The risk that Lamar Jackson, of course, is taking is if he were to suffer a devastating injury, then he's leaving guaranteed money on the table. Even if he's not getting a fully guaranteed deal, a longer-term deal would still have more guaranteed money in it? And the answer can be, well, he doesn't have to care about that quite as much because he's probably got an insurance policy that pays off a good bit of that. And probably, but all of it, I don't think so. It's just all so damn confusing. And today, it doesn't appear to matter, right? Like, it appears as though Lamar Jackson is happy, going to work, says the hamstring's better, says it never really was that he felt like he was healthy at all last season. Everything seems to be fine right now. But, again, that's the juxtaposition, right? Like, if everything is fine, then why not sign an extension? And on the flip side, if the quarterback hasn't signed an extension, you keep asking yourself, is everything really fine? And it makes your brain melt. You find yourself saying, how? How are we here? And maybe it is all much ado about nothing. Maybe the Ravens will get to the end of the season and sit down with Lamar Jackson and it'll get done then. It better. They have no choice at this point. Maybe it'll get done in 2 weeks. I don't know. They certainly cannot have Lamar Jackson play at a $84 million cap hit in 2027. That can't happen the same way that he couldn't play at a $74 million cap hit. But I keep coming back to this. But then why? And it's the damnedest part. I mean, look, in that way, he's an enigma. You know what I mean? Like, he is just different than everybody else.
Some similarities to Aaron Rodgers is what you're saying?
I don't want to say that. Definitely don't want to say that. I don't know how to explain it. I can't make heads or tails of the operating procedures for Camp Lamar Jackson. If it works out, it works out. We can't pretend as though there's no risk. It's not massive risk. It's the part of whenever we have that part of the conversation, it's always the part that's left out because there will always be someone who says Lamar Jackson is stupid for playing without more guaranteed money on the table. And that undoubtedly is mitigated by insurance, somewhat. I don't know the details. I don't have them. It was something that I was told with confidence when he was going through this the first time, that there was an insurance plan that was there, and that mitigates, without question, whatever risk there is on Lamar Jackson's side. But I still think in the end, mathematically, he'd be better to have more guaranteed money. And as we keep saying, and all of these quarterbacks can essentially rip up their none of them appear to be bad deals because you can just go get another one. If the market changes dramatically, you can just say in 2 years, hey, we need to talk about this. Market's changed, and I'm the quarterback, and I need more. You have all the power. But Lamar Jackson says everything's good. I love Baltimore. I'm going to be here for a long time. I don't know, man. Some big brain stuff going on. I feel like that was about it from you. Was there anything else from yesterday?
Ravens was?
Yeah, they didn't really.
Nothing about to be gay.
Still don't know who
they
this
feel good about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, I think Justin Minter said the word great. I feel great about where he's at or something.
We still don't know who the center is going to be.
Could be me. You? Maybe?
I don't think so. I'd be very surprised if that were the case. Okay. And they didn't really talk at all about Minter didn't really talk at all about the idea of adding any more pass catchers, right? That didn't really. Just want to make sure about this, that I didn't miss something, but I didn't really see that get brought up, which I acknowledge. I don't think is pressing. I don't think anybody needed to ask Jesse Minter about it, because it's not like there's been some sort of report that the Ravens are monitoring the market. But it is worth pointing out that before the next time, June 1st is the next significant date on the NFL calendar, and this will be the last time to talk to the Ravens before June 1st. So I do think that part of the conversation is relevant. What might happen. And to be fair, it might not all happen next week. It might be the type of stuff that happens. June 1st is a relevant date, but that doesn't also mean that it's on June 1st that every veteran that's going to be cut is cut. Sometimes it's more of a mid-June, late June. I don't know. And obviously, wide receiver in particular, these guys, we're not even talking about June 1st cuts. We're talking about guys that are available right now. Right now. So it's all a very complicated conversation. One of those guys that's still available is Stefon Diggs. And one of Stefon Diggs' former teammates is now a Baltimore Raven. We had the opportunity to catch up with Jaylinn Hawkins right here on GCR. Well, it's a pleasure to be joined now by one of the newest members of the Baltimore Ravens. He's out there at work this week. It is a chance to meet Mr. Jaylinn Hawkins, who's with us here on GCR. Jaylinn, it's Glenn. It's good to see you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Nah, man, I appreciate you so much.
Hey, man.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, we had a chance to chat a couple weeks ago on WBAL, and we were talking about Larry June and our common friend Arthur Millette, right? We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So it's good to see you. What's it been like actually being out there, man? What's it been like being on the field with the guys and getting to know everybody and actually sort of settling in as a Baltimore Raven?
Man, it's been hella fun, man. It's been cool. Just embracing everybody here, from the coaches to everybody, as we building the team. The biggest thing during this time is connection. So as long as I connect with the guys, whether that's staying an extra 2 hours after practice, hanging out, playing ping pong, talking about life or whatever, just connect. The connection is so important. So it's been a good time.
Is that something that you learned from someone that was a veteran in your life when you were younger, or is that just something that's natural for you?
Nah, I mean, kind of both. I've always been a big team guy, you know what I'm saying? Play for your brothers type guy, family-oriented guy. And also, man, just having good vets as a youngin', it did help me out. When I was in Atlanta throughout my younger years, it was a good time just seeing how, connected and close I was with those guys, and how, you can create lifelong bonds and friends and stuff like that. It also helps on the field. Same with the Patriots.
Was there anybody in particular when you were young in your career that really was important like that to you, that maybe helped guide you a little bit?
My boy Eric Harris, man, and Deron Harmon, those two guys I played with my second year, really, really helped me out. My first year I had some good guys too, Keanu Neal, Ricardo Allen, also my boy D. Marlowe. Just good older guys in the room who showed us what it was about, and also taught us about through their experiences and helped us grow as a youngin'.
How important has that been for you now? I need to pay that back, right? I now need to be that. Everything I've accomplished in the NFL, these guys that are coming in need to learn that from me.
Yeah, super, man. I feel like it's very important. I want to give that back. I want the youngins and the guys that's coming into the league to have the same experience that I did, that I was blessed enough with, to, show them what it's about, show them that, it's deeper than just being out there on the field. That connection is what really helps, and that's what helps you win. And it's nothing like playing for somebody you care about, playing alongside somebody you care about, it's a good thing. It's a good time going to work,
I appreciate that, man. Jaylinn Hawkins is with us here on GCR. Jaylinn, can you tell me a little bit about, when we talked the last time, obviously, maybe you hadn't experience being around Jesse Minter and what that might functionally look like. What have you learned now being out there for a few weeks, being around it, soaking up what his defense is going to be? If somebody said, how do you describe what a Jesse Minter defense is, what would you say?
Man, creative, smart, ball hawking, playmaking defense. For real. That's how I describe it. You know, very smart situationally, allows you to play free, allows you to go, do what you do, and it helps people play to their strengths,
Obviously, your versatility is a big part of what it is the Ravens wanted to bring you in for. Have you gotten a sense early on of, like, how you might be utilized? We've talked, like, dude, your deep coverage is insane, right? Like, it's nuts. But have you gotten a sense of how you might be utilized in different ways?
Yeah, most definitely. I for sure have. I mean, obviously, we're getting glimpses and we're going through plays and stuff like that. So, they have been showing us what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I've been doing that throughout this OTAs. As we continue to practice, we'll do more. So it's been cool.
That's cool, man. All right, let's talk about it, because we saw publicly there was like a little bit of maybe a recruiting pitch, perhaps, with a former teammate of yours. Have you had a conversation with Stefon at all? Have you, has that gone anywhere, or was that just some fun on social media and that's the end?
I think that was, a little fun on social media, tell my boy, hey, come over here. He's from Maryland, It's like, why not? Come back to the crib. It makes the most sense. I feel like we got something good going here, let's try to run it back.
Obviously, right? Like, y'all had a whole lot of success together.
Yeah, that's good energy, man. Good teammates to play with, keep each other going from both sides of the ball. So it's cool, man, so I know that's a process that he's going through, and I know that there's a lot of teams after him. I know that June 1st, second wave of free agency opens, so hopefully he makes a decision to become a Raven.
Can you tell me about, because what you just said there, I think a lot of people, like, they know Stefon Diggs, the, like, social media personality.
Yeah.
They know, obviously, he's in a very high-profile relationship, but we got to know Stefon, yeah, right? We got to know Stefon when he was here at Maryland, right? And what would you tell everybody about the type of teammate he is, the way he is in the locker room? Because I'm sure you've had people say, like, oh, is he a distraction? Is he a bad guy? Things like that.
Huge benefit, man. I like he brings it every day. Like, that's a true vet who come to work with his hard hat on, gets it in. The energy is, he's always turned. He's always out there making it known. He's getting everybody better. The vibe with him in the room, you know what I'm saying? I've seen him, help the receiver room, reach new heights. Seeing youngins looking up to him and, playing more confident because he's instilling confidence in them. Just everything, man. Leadership, pregame speeches, all that. The way he carries himself. I salute him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really know much before, but playing a full season with him, I was like, yeah, I see. I see. You know what I'm saying? I see it. That's a real good teammate.
Man, that all sounds like something that we'd be up for. That all sounds pretty good. Are you willing to, like, do the work, man? If Eric DeCosta says, hey, we need a little help here, we need you to make.
Y'all get the call, like, hey, bro, what's good? Like, hey, pull up, like, bro. I don't know what everybody else is talking about. They might be wasting your time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Want to do your Dougie? Come here.
That's awesome. We love that.
Yeah.
Man. That's great. Jaylinn, I saw something that you were doing that's always really cool to me, and we talked about you being a West Coast guy, but being able to do this camp that you've been doing with Nick Needham, can you tell me a little bit about what that has meant to you and being able to do something for your hometown and for young people back that way?
That means so much for me, man. Like, it's always a blessing and an honor to do that, man, and to give back to people in general, but, like, especially from my hometown, it really hits home. There's a lot of kids from where I come from that don't really, like, make it out. Not too many hit the NFL. Not too many, you know what I'm saying, get to do things and certain things with their life. So, the biggest thing I want to do when I get back is just always give back knowledge myself, hope, you know what I'm saying, so that, God works. And they can do it too. You know what I'm saying? Anything is possible.
What is it?
And that's
what is it about you, right? You mentioned that not everybody. Why are you different? Why have you been able to do this and to have this journey and all of the success that you found both on and off the field?
For one, God. If I wouldn't have no relationship with God, if I didn't believe or have faith, if I have no faith, I would not be here. And then what comes along with faith is the people that God puts in place with you in your life, man. You know, your family, your support system, my wife. My wife. People I talk to, my therapist, my life coach, everybody, you know, he puts people in place. You know, all you gotta do is utilize and, you know what I'm saying, help each other out, and that relationship is strong. You know, it takes a village. So I believe strongly that, you know, God has helped me get to where I'm at today.
It's powerful, and I appreciate that testimony. Can I follow? Because you mentioned something in that answer that I think is also powerful, which is you said my therapist, my life coach, right? And I think a lot of men in particular don't like talking about those types of things, or we maybe want to hide that. Yeah, I see a therapist, and yeah, I try to take care of my mental health. And yet you brought it up unprovoked, and I feel like maybe that's a powerful thing for people to hear. Can you tell me why that's something that you wanted to do and you wanted to have in your life, and what it's done for you, and why maybe more of us in particular as men shouldn't be afraid of these types of things?
Because I believe that mental health is a real thing. I've obviously gone through it. I've gone through the worst. I've gone through having heavy anxieties, you know what I'm saying? And I've gone through a lot, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of people don't really know about. Really, the only person that truthfully knows about it is obviously my therapist and my wife.
Wow.
And so I've, you know, gotten help doing the things, and I believe that mental health is real and it's serious. So, like, the biggest thing was I was just, you know, willing to get help and willing to help myself out, and it's helped me out so much, you know, and it's something that, you know, I recommend to anybody, and especially in this game. This game comes with a lot. It's really all mental. There is some physicality parts to it for sure, but majority of it is mental, and how you're thinking, how you know, go about your day to day, what your mood is like, how do you control yourself, how to have self-control, a lot of stuff. So doing those things are so beneficial to not only my success, but my well-being.
Brother, bless you for saying that, man. Like, somebody needed to hear that today. Like, bless you for saying that out loud.
Sure.
And that message being clear. You know, no, you're good, man. We talked about it hypothetically, right, when you signed, but walking into the building and seeing the trophies. Obviously, you saw a lot of trophies in New England, right? Like, we get that. But seeing the trophies and seeing the pictures, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, like, did it hit you at some point, like, how special it really is to be, I'm a defensive player for the Baltimore Ravens, I am part of this lineage, this history, and now it's on me to keep that going?
I guess it's very special. You know what I'm saying? You got to always pay homage to the greats, and the greats who've been in this organization, and that's one of the reasons why I came here, is because I wanted to be a part of something great. So, yeah.
What's it going to take, right? Like, knowing how tantalizingly close you came to doing this last year, right? Like, what does it take to get over the hump and to be able to become a Super Bowl champion?
It's the little things. All the little things. All the little things. All the details from everything. From when you get in the building, if you're leaving trash behind, how clean your locker room is.
Wow.
Stuff that people don't think about. I'm telling you, it really comes down to those things. You know what I'm saying? And those things, all the little things and all the detailed things helps you win games. And that's one thing I learned last year, was we had talent for sure, but there are some teams that have more talent than us. Like, you know, I mean, we had a lot of talent for sure, but there were some very good teams. But, like, what helped us beat certain teams was we're just very detailed in what we did, and very disciplined. And those go a long way, you know what I'm saying? And then hard work. You gotta work. If you don't put the work in, then your output is gonna be your output. So,
you know, hearing you talk about cleaning up the locker room is kind of powerful. I'm not sure if you're aware, but that was one of Ed Reed's biggest things, man. Like, he would get after guys about leaving their towels on the floor, and the volunteer firefighters that would come in and clean after him. Like, it's really powerful hearing you say that, right? Like, have you always been like that? It's just something that we've got to be better than this. Like, we've got to be detailed.
Yeah, I've always been like this. I've always been like very like integrity, discipline is like one of my like things, and I've kind of always been like that. I've actually always been like that my whole life.
I love it.
But that's also I've seen it. I've seen those little things work. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it. You know what I'm saying, before. So I'm like, okay, I've seen what it looks like to have these little things in check, and I've seen where it's taking us.
Man, that's cool. That is so cool, bro. It's giving me goosebumps, man. All right, so when we talked last time, you're a California guy. Obviously, you're a K-Dot fan. I knew that had to be the case.
So
are you so hardcore as a K-Dot fan that like you just have to hate Drake, and when the guys are talking about his new albums?
No, I'm not on that.
Okay.
That's doing time. They had a beef. That was his beef.
Okay.
That was cool. K-Dot won. Drake's okay. Look,
by 1 million, right? Like by the biggest blowout in the history.
Won. He won. Yeah. He won that beef. But I think Drake is a better artist, though.
Wow. Yeah. That's bold.
I mean, I'm a music junkie, so I'm from the West. You feel me? I'm from the West Coast. I'm not biased. I'm a music head. Drake always has been my favorite artist. Like,
wow.
For a long time. So like he did. Now Kendrick has been one of my favorites too, but he just lost a beef. That's like you lost a fight. Boxers lose fights all the time. I'll still be my favorite boxer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What did you think about?
Like
What'd you think about these 3 records then?
Iceman is gonna be a classic for sure. Because he went back to him spitting, being a lyricist. He got some songs in there where his metaphors, wordplay is unbelievable, and then he got some slaps, some melody slaps, some melodic slaps, some songs in there. Some obviously everybody know that reach me, baby. Come on and say you need. You know what I'm saying? He got some hits. But I'll say Iceman is gonna be a classic. Maid of Honor is, I think, more for the women. Got some cool tracks on there as well. It's not bad. I think it's more for the women. And then BBT is pretty cool. I like that. Good R&B, slower side of Drake. So all good tapes.
I respect the way you just laid this out, by the way, right? Like, I respect that, hey, man, the beef is what it was. You got your ass kicked, but now you just keep going. Your career continues, man. That's the yeah, right? Like, that's the way it works.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylinn Hawkins, I know it's at Jaylinn Hawkins on Instagram is how folks can give you a follow there. Is there anything else that we can plug for you, brother, other than just putting the work in and trying to go win a Super Bowl?
Obviously, my handles, Instagram, Jaylinn Hawkins, TikTok, Jaylinn Hawkins as well, YouTube, JHawk2121. All those want to subscribe, dropping content on there for fun, giving people a bit of myself outside of the facility and outside of the helmet. And yeah, nothing much, man. Just proud to be, happy to be a Raven and happy to be here, man. Blessed.
Man, we are so happy to have you. Also, I want to give you a shout out because you have gone so far out of your way to try to get to know everybody in Baltimore and to reach out and to introduce yourself. And it says something really special about you, that you care about this new place and that you want everybody to know you, man. And that means a lot. So, Jaylinn, appreciate you doing that. Appreciate you taking the time and look forward to seeing you out there. Thanks so much for hopping on.
Man, thank you for having me on here, man. Appreciate it.
Great stuff with Jaylinn Hawkins. Appreciate him taking the time for us. All right. You want to do a quick tidbit?
Yes.
Make it quick.
So obviously you alluded to it, Sinner out because he lost to one of the how do you say his name?
Cerundolo. Yeah.
Cerundolo. One of the was it Juan Manuel that was that?
Yeah.
Which one beat him? But anyway, Francisco and Juan Manuel.
Wait. Yeah, it was yes.
They're brothers.
Yes.
They are the third set of brothers to reach the round of 32 at Roland Garros.
They're the third
set of brothers to reach the same round of 32. Garros. That's what I said.
The McEnroes?
No.
Oh. Patrick wasn't a great player, but
yeah, like it seems like what round of 32. That seems like
in the same year.
Yes, correct.
Okay. I mean, I don't imagine that Misha Zverev ever did, but I'll try it. The Zverevs?
The Zverevs did in 2018. Misha and Alexander both into the round of 32.
And
then you have to go all the way back to 1979.
Oh, sure. Easy peasy.
You're not going to get that one.
Probably not. I don't know.
Gene and Sandy Mayer. Is it Mayer or Meyer?
Mayer, I think. Yeah, they're not. I mean,
Gene and Sandy.
Not a significant.
No?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
What they both made? It's only the third set of.
Okay. You're right about
that.
Factually accurate. Yeah, look, we didn't talk about it. Center melted in the heat, wilted, cramped, tried to keep playing in hopes that he just found it at some point, but never did. So he's out, and that means no center or Alcaraz.
Jeez.
And to the outside world, they're going to say, so it's Djokovic's to win? No, the scary part is it's probably Alex Zverev's to win. He's definitely the favorite at this point, and he's garbage. So I hope that he melts as well at some point in the coming weeks. France TFO survived in 5 sets today. And
I'll do another quick one. Blaze had 6 RBI, 31st Oriole, 6 RBI in a game.
You said a quick one? You want me to name all the other Orioles that had?
2 guys are tied with 5 6 RBI games in Orioles history.
Okay. How about Frank Robinson?
No.
Brooks Robinson?
No.
Cal
Robinson.
Ripken?
Cal Ripken Jr.
All right.
5.
Eddie Murray?
Eddie Murray, also 5.
All right. There you go.
Manny and Chris Hoyles with 4 6 RBI games, and then 3 guys with 3. Rafa, Boog, and
Rafa
and Jim Gentile. That's what we call him.
No one has ever called Rafael Palmeiro Rafa.
What are you supposed to call him?
Raffy was what they called him. Get the thing.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. Of course, as we mentioned, Orioles and Blue Jays open up the first of a 4-game set this evening. Chris Bassett goes against Patrick Corbin, who you, like I, perhaps had no idea was a Toronto Blue Jay. That's at 6:35 on MASN. MASN's showing the Durham Bulls and the Norfolk Tides currently. NBC tonight for Game 6 as the Thunder look to close out the Spurs. Spurs look to force Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals. That's at 8:30. Women's College World Series underway on ESPN all day long, and French Open coverage continues on TNT. Anything non-sports-wise?
We got Welcome to Wrexham. We have you said it's the series finale for Hacks. This is
I believe it is. Yes,
all right.
this
Then
is
it's the season finale and series finale for Hacks tonight at 9 on HBO Max. And I thought there was the Four Seasons Season 2. That was the Steve Carell show on Netflix.
Is that an anthology or is it the same cast?
I think it's the same cast.
Okay.
Well, because I don't know if I'm spoiling it. But
someone can't.
Yeah,
someone can't be.
Someone's not coming back.
Yes.
But yeah, like Coleman Domingo, I believe, is back, and so they are.
What's her face from Reno 911 who played his ex-wife and his name escapes me now.
Season 19 of Criminal Minds on Paramount Plus.
Okay, so nothing then?
Deli Boy Season 2 as well on Hulu.
Oh, I like that, actually. I enjoyed Deli Boys. I watched Season 1 of that. All right, I'll watch. Oh, that's good. That's good news for me. There's some stuff in there that I'll watch.
Good. You're welcome.
Very good. Thanks to Jaylinn Hawkins of the Ravens. Thanks to Mark
Savannah
Sweeney.
Bananas. Is that what we're doing?
No, I'm trying to get the TNT. I don't know what happened there. Thanks to Mark Sweeney. Thanks to Tavian Josenberger. And thanks to Sydney Black. We'll get all that up in the greatest hits section of the...
Dan Levy and Lamorne Morris will be on Jimmy Kimmel.
Excellent. Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Yes, I think I would. Go to that tour. Tomorrow on the program, we are doing a Friday show. We're doing it at... What time did we say? 2? 3.
Yes.
3 o'clock. Of course. Just going to be sitting there by myself. Come on, guys. We're going to be doing it live from Ridley Athletic Complex, where the PLL and the WLL will be. It won't just be a lacrosse show. In fact, we're scheduled to be joined by former Raven Isaiah Likely on the program tomorrow. And
Zach Britton.
Is scheduled to join us, talk some baseball.
And lacrosse people.
Then some folks from the PLL and WLL that might be stopping by during the course of the program. So looking forward to hanging out there. Join us tomorrow at 3 for a Friday edition of GCR. Thanks to everybody at Pressbox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including who do I need to thank? I need to thank the Costa Sin, Baltimore area highest dairy stores, Baltimore Orioles, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warrenton Law, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Cruise Maryland, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Thursday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks.